We're at Northwest Stadium, and the Washington Commanders picked up a big 36-33 win over the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that came into this stadium with a 10-game winning streak and leaves now with their playoff home field advantage in shambles. I'm joined by my good friend, Mr. Felix Trammell from Fox Sports Radio. This was a big one.
Hey, it's not over till it's over. And I think that's the theme of this team that we've seen so far. I think that's Jaden Daniels' theme, and that's passed along to everybody else because there's time on the clock, like he said earlier, there's going to be a way. And the Commanders find a way, and I think that's a sign of a good team, finding a way to win.
Yeah. I mean, we were saying in the press box, is there a third miracle in the making in this stadium? And it just seems like this team's never out of a football game. But they did something today that they hadn't done all year, Felix. They found a way to beat a team with a winning record. Not just a winning record. As I said, this team came in, the Eagles, on a 10-game winning streak and had a lot to play for. So we know Jalen Hurts got hurt. He was out early in the game. But if you're the Eagles, you still felt like you could win this game. So there's no, for fans, they're going to say, oh, well, Washington won this because he was out. No. They gutted this out and came and fought.
Yeah, because you got to look at the other side of the ball. The Eagles are the number one rated defense in the NFL. So those guys were still out there.
Absolutely.
And Washington put 36 points on them. That's 5 touchdowns and
with
2
turnovers.
With 5 turnovers and a turnover on downs.
Yeah,
so that's
twice.
That's the 6 times that, you know, Washington gave them the ball. And they still scored 36 points on them. So you need to put that to bed. I mean, Saquon Barkley ran all over them first half. He had 120 yards, but
only 30 in the
second. So, I mean, that means the team competed. They found a way. And so for all those naysayers, beating that game is a serious deal. It's a big deal, and it's a sign of a competitive nature that Quinn has installed here in this franchise.
Yeah, Terry told us that afterwards, in the press conference, that he loves playing with this team. You know, he said obviously he's used to losing. He's been around losing teams. But now, he says that they feel like they can win and they're never out of a game. And he said he attributes that to Dan Quinn and that winning culture. And that's what culture is. You're seeing it now where you don't quit. Because how many years past a game like this, guys would have probably packed it in. You're not seeing that now.
Not at all. And then look who scores the touchdowns. Terry has one, but Zacchaeus 2. Jameson Crowder too. Like, I mean, the OG and OZ, and like you see in these things, like everyone believes. And that, I think the defense knows that if we can just get the offense the ball, they'll find a way. And like each side believes in each other. So that skill, that testament, that fortitude has to come from Peters. It has to come from Dan Quinn and all those guys. And then everyone here believes. And when you believe, I mean, there's a chance because you never know how the ball is going to fall.
And what did we see in the locker room before we came out here? Adam Peters in the locker room, bear hugging people. And folks, we're talking about after the majority of the players were already out of the locker room, probably in their car heading home. He still was in that locker room, bear hugging players. It just goes to show you that winning is real here. It's legit. 10 wins now. They're going for something, not just to clinch a playoff spot next week, but if they win that game, do you know what else they're going to do?
Win 10 games for the first time
11.
Since when?
It'll be 11 wins for this team. They're the only franchise in the last 33 years that have not done that.
That's amazing.
So for them to make the playoffs, they'll also end another big streak. It's some good stuff happening here.
Yeah, and I think you're coming to a point now where teams don't want to play Washington.
No,
I don't think they want to play Washington. Washington used to be that get right game, the get pad stats game. Now in December, do you want to go play Washington?
No.
Do you want to go face Jaden Daniels? Do you want to face this defense? I don't know. And I think certain teams, you have your Detroits, you have your Minnesotas, you have your Philadelphias, but Washington is a team right there that I don't know if people want to play because now they're playing with house money.
And on top of that, Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah.
You saw why they went out and got him. Yeah, he had a couple pass interferences. I'm good with that. But this is the first time I've ever seen A.J. Brown play against the Burgundy and Gold, and he had to work.
Yeah.
And now it's not a game for A.J. Brown to pad his stats. He's knowing now that, man, I got a war ahead of me 2 times a year when I play Marshawn Lattimore. So big shout out to that guy. I mean, he made a difference. And when he came off the field, when he tweaked the hamstring and came off the field, Philly went right at Benji St. Juste. They went back in attack mode.
Right.
So this guy's really important. Hopefully he'll be okay for next week.
Yeah, I mean, let the penalties go away. I mean, that was a battle.
Yeah.
And those pass interference, questionable. First one, I mean, AJ's stiff arming essentially 30 yards down the field.
He was holding his arm.
But I mean, you see that battle, and he followed him around, and you just see where AJ went, Marshawn.
He was chirping with them too,
and he talks. And I think we've missed that around here, where you had that swagger, that intensity. I think the last person that really would do that would be D'Angelo.
Yeah.
But D'Angelo was kind of primish to the end.
Yeah.
Marshawn is in his prime.
He's only 27 years old.
So I think that's where you're seeing that, and that spark been a lot to that defense because they follow his lead.
Absolutely. They know they have a dog back there who makes them even better. Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, all guys had great games. I mean, this was a big one. This was a big win for this football team. And we'll be here next week to see if they can clinch it against the Falcons in about 20 seconds or so. What are you looking for next week?
That's the game you're supposed to win and get the playoffs. Dominate that game. Dominate, finish, take the rookie quarterback out of the game and win. And you're in the playoffs. It's just that simple.
Exactly. Michael Penix comes to town next week. The rookie quarterback will be making his second start. They did beat the lowly Giants today, but it won't be the Giants here next week. They're coming to Northwest Stadium, where this place is going to be a buzzsaw to see this football team make a playoff game. It'll be the first time in, 8-9 years?
Well, they made it in 2020. So you had the COVID year, but it was one year.
Where there's expectations.
Right.
You got to go back to 2012.
2012 was the real one.
Absolutely, where they had to win. That was against the Cowboys. Don't have to worry about that. But if you win next week, you're in. Simple as that. And right now, there's no way this football team's not making the playoffs. They're a playoff football team. So right here at Northwest Stadium, Lake Lewis, signing off with Felix Trammell.